fiery Diana McCullough.
And I'm the ice-cold Andrew Ivanme.
And this is episode 10 of Fan vs. Fan for The Flash.
This man in yellow. I have to be ready to face him.
I think you mean the Reverse Flash.
Smart.
He's back. Come out wherever you are, Flash.
So in tonight's episode, we see Captain Cold and Heatwave team up for the first time as the Rogues and try to take down the Flash. We see Star Labs making a kind gesture towards the police office. We see Caitlin trying to track down Firestorm. And Iris finally moves out of the nest. Alright, pros of tonight's episode. What did you like?
What I really liked about this episode is that everybody got to be a hero. I think The Flash works really well when they do completely ensemble episodes. In this episode, Barry got to be the hero because he saved everyone. Caitlin was kind of a hero. She got kidnapped, but she was looking for Ronnie and she was being really proactive about it. Mm-hmm. Cisco got a really nice moment with the cops where they thanked him, and kind of Wells too, but he's a bad guy. And Joe didn't get to do much, but he had a beautiful scene with Barry at the very end, which made him a hero in my eyes.
Joe got to be a hero 3 times, if you ask me, because he dove for Caitlin, who was on the chair with the bomb on it.
Oh, he did do that. I forgot that.
He shot Heatwave's gun in the airplane hangar that jammed that business all up. And then just general heroism of a great dad.
Just being a great dad
Triple
is
win.
Joe's job, basically. Even Thawne, actually, he went and saved Flash for a second. Yeah, so everyone, except Iris, got to do something really great this episode. And it was really good to see. I love ensemble Flash episodes.
Iris moved out of the nest. She's being independent. I think that's something heroic. Maybe not television worthy, but heroic in a personal life.
What did you like about tonight's episode?
I liked Wentworth Miller, first of all. I'm going to say that. Fantastic Captain Cold. I think it was just the right amount of cheese. And I really think that his performance of Captain Cold in this episode is the epitome of what the tone of this show is going for. I think he absolutely nailed it with the amount of cheese and hatred and obsession with the Flash in a playful way. Every good villain is all just about being obsessed with the hero. But even the moment towards the end of the episode when they're on the street, he starts giving a speech and then abandons it mid-speech because Barry's not that interested. I think it was super charming. I think he played it perfectly. It was great.
No, I think he was also great. I liked him. I thought him and Dominic Purcell, he was a little bit better than Dominic, but I thought they had a really good balance of, they were at the same level with their bit of over-the-topness of their characters. They were both kind of talking like gangsters for a bit, we gotta stop the Flash. They kept saying his name really elongated.
I loved it. It was so old-timey and charming. Them hitting their respective characters define the tone of the show to me, more so than anything prior has. I get what they're going for now when it comes to villains. Alright, so let's talk about cons. What didn't we like about this episode? What pissed you off?
I really liked this episode, but a thing that didn't so much piss me off as, you're just yelling at the TV a lot is, oh my god, these were just 2 regular dudes with guns. They weren't that hard to stop. The cops never shot a single bullet at them. Oh, Joe shot 1 bullet and hit Heatwave's gun. That's all that happened. At the very end, the 2 guys are in the middle of the street, and Barry's running all around them, and the cops are like, what do we do? It's not like they had guns or anything.
You could punch them in the face, you could have shot them.
Yeah, and there was also some other logic jumps in the episode that were weird. The jump of Firestorm being an acronym was super weird and clumsy.
That was embarrassing.
What was that? What is Ronnie even doing? Ronnie said the word Firestorm because he's living as a hobo and he's, reading university-level papers about stuff.
And the fact that they didn't acknowledge that it was the worst acronym in the world, Firestorm, they didn't acknowledge it. They were like, oh yes, one of those acronyms that happen to be 9 letters long.
Just like Scuba.
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
So yeah, the logic jumps I could have done without this episode. But other than that, really solid episode. Loved it. What didn't you like in this very fine episode, Andrew?
Well, I agree. It was a very fine episode indeed, but a couple of the problems that I did have with it were the B and C storylines getting a little bit washed away in a B and C storyline that could have had a lot of potential. I really enjoyed Caitlin trying to track down Ronnie Raymond, a.k.a. Firestorm, throughout the episode, and then her getting kidnapped kind of mid-B storyline and turning around, making it all about the Flash again. I didn't like that as a way to just kind of close that really, really sharply and abruptly. And then the whole Iris moving out thing, I didn't really care for either. The scene that they put at the end with Barry moving in with Joe, if they had to put that a little bit earlier, I think maybe Iris moving out could have meant a bit more. Because up until now, they've never clarified where Barry lives.
Where do you live, Barry?
Where do you live? This is infuriating me this whole time. I'm like, does he live in the office? Is he living with Joe? Does he have a third place that they've never shown on the show? Maybe I should live here with you. I felt like that was a little bit of the writers acknowledging, oh, we should have had Barry living with Joe. That is a much better plot device.
For a bit, I thought he might have lived at Star Labs because he was unconscious for 9 months. I'm like, did they give his apartment away? Does he have to live at Star Labs now?
I thought he might have been homeless for a bit. Like, are you running into Firestorm on the street? What's going on with your life?
But yeah, I actually didn't mind the different storylines so much. Is that they all connected nicely, especially Caleb's, actually.
So let's talk about some special nuggets in this episode. Easter eggs, some call them.
I prefer if you call them Easter eggs.
I'm sticking with nuggets, but what did you find?
This is why I'm in charge of Easter eggs. So this week we had Captain Cold and Heatwave stole a painting called Fire and Ice. And that was so cheesy, because they are obviously fire and ice. But did you just get it?
Oh my god.
Just got it.
Wow.
But Fire and Ice are actually a superhero team in the DC universe as well. They're 2 girls, they have fire and ice powers. So I don't know if this was a nod to both, because they could have called it something else. It could have been heat and ice cubes, I don't know. Another real quick Easter egg, when Barry gets his little nerd package from Iris, the Comics Insider Space Ghost comics. And Space Ghost is a real character, he's not a DC character, but I guess we can say that Space Ghost is canon in the DC universe as being a fictional character?
To read Space Ghost comics.
Way to go, Space Ghost! Another really quick Easter egg that didn't have any payoff, we're probably going to hear it later, is that the people who owned the painting, the rich people, they talked about their son, Hartley Rathaway, and he's actually going to be the Pied Piper later. The Pied Piper is like a guy who has an actual flute. Well, he probably won't have an actual flute, but he can mind control people, and he's a pretty good villain. He's part of the Rogues. So I feel like they mentioned him in the Rogues episode because of this.
Does he mind control people with the flute?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not just an incidental flute.
No, he's not just a guy who likes flutes and also minds control people. They're connected.
Okay. They would have to be.
Not so much an Easter egg, but just a little explanatory thing. In this episode, we're learning a lot about Firestorm, the character, not so much the acronym. In this episode, we meet Jason Rush, and we also hear Martin Stein mentioned. So in this show, Firestorm is going to be made up of 2 characters. It's when 2 people combine. It's going to be Ronnie, and it's going to be Martin Stein. But in other continuities, when Ronnie dies, or just alternate universes, Jason Rush is actually usually Firestorm.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of interesting that they have all 3 of the Firestorm characters introduced already. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think that's a really interesting Easter egg, because having all 3 in there leaves us a little bit uncertain as to what they're going to do, or even once they decide what they're going to do, that they can switch directions on us at any given time.
And the very last Easter egg is the very last scene when Captain Cold and Heatwave are being broken out. Captain Cold says, "Hey, Sith." So Leonard Snart's sister is Lisa Snart, and she is actually also a supervillain. They team up sometimes. She's called the Golden Glider. So we're probably going to see her later. They're going to be teaming up. She's not really a rogue too often, but I can see her joining the team for a bit.
And what's her powers and abilities?
She's kind of, it's weird. Sometimes she has none. Sometimes she also has Captain Cold's gun. Sometimes she has these weird skates that let her fly a little, but not very far off the ground. She's fun. She'll be good.
So those are her golden gliders.
Golden gliders, yeah. Well, she used to be a figure skater, and she
Okay.
dates the Top in the comic books. The Top's the guy who spins really quickly, and she can also spin really quickly because of figure skating. Very deep character.
What a cute
Very
couple.
deep.
Charming.
They will just spin around.
That's just, I don't know why, it tickles me.
This has been episode 10 of Fan vs. Fan for the Flash. I'm Diana McCullum.
And I'm Andrew Ivemy, and we're back for the new year. So be sure to subscribe, tweet, Facebook, all Insta-flibes. I made up a new social media, so that's going to be the thing. But share it, get the word out there. Be sure that you're watching the videos. We're going to have more to come.
Yeah, you can follow us at Dorkshop on Twitter, right around here.
And you can also subscribe right around this general chest region.
We got a lot of fun stuff planned for 2015. We can't wait. Thanks for watching.
Kicked him out.